Hey everyone, welcome to my theory classroom at home. We're going to talk about rhythmic dots versus articulation dots. Now, this is one of those little details that sometimes people don't really get. They think they get, but they don't really get. There is such a thing as an articulation dot, and that dot, sorry, my dog's trying to come in. That dot goes on top of the note, okay, like that. And that means to play it short. That's what we all know that. But when we see this rhythmic dot over here on the side, that is a rhythmic dot that tells us a couple of things. We are going to add half the value of whatever this note is to that note. So if I'm looking at a half note, half of that would be a quarter note. I would have 3 quarter notes inside of that. I'm looking at this one's just a little bit trickier, but we're going to add, we have 2 eighth notes inside of a quarter note, so we're going to add an eighth note, okay? And the same thing would work with a 16. Here's a trickier one. If I did it with a whole note, half of a whole note would be a half note, right? So I can divide that. So I'm going to add another half note. So that's what my rhythmic dot does versus my articulation dot. And you want to make sure that you're seeing that dot, or if you have to write it, on the side, not above. All right, so let's take a look at some of the examples that I have in the assignment. I gave you 2, they've used both rests and notes. So for instance, if this one is in the assignment, you have to come up with a rest that equals that. Okay, so a half rest plus a quarter rest. Well, that's going to be our dot, our dotted rest. Okay, and I'm going to scoot out of the way so you can see. Okay, so we can have rests that are dotted as well. All right, and so those look pretty simple. Now then, I gave you one example that looks like this. You have a, you have a quarter note plus an eighth note, and you have to tell me what note this would equal. Okay, well, looking over here at my example, if I were to add one more, that's pretty simple. I have a quarter note here, a quarter note there, so that would give me a half note. Okay, so this is some musical math. It's not too challenging, but the main thing is thinking about how many eighth notes are inside here, or how many quarter notes are inside there. Basically, we're looking for subdivisions in that dotted note. And most often, if you see a pattern here, if you're dotting something, it's most likely going to be an odd number that it results. So we've got 3 half notes, 3 quarter notes. Without this, 3 eighth notes, okay? So it's a asymmetrical rhythmic feeling. That's why everybody plays it incorrectly, because they're not really waiting long enough, or they're moving too fast. Okay, so that dotted quarter note, that's our favorite one. Okay, and so you really want to be thinking about the subdivisions inside it so that you can play it accurately with the orchestra. All right, everybody, that's it for dots. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.